So I've got a nice brand new faucet and pop-up. Have them installed, but the problem is right here in between. And it's not super bad, but it shows up when running water or when I fill up the pop-up. See the little bit of water here. And it's actually leaking from the threads here. I'll pull the pop-up. I'll show you here. You can actually see it on my finger here. Just dry it off. Pull it. And there it is. It's not real bad, but it's just enough to do some damage down here. We're going to pop the pop-up. Again, you can see the water coming down through here. I prefer to use silicone between the drain for these, but I also will add Teflon tape to this area in order to keep any water from going through the threads. Plumber's tape acts as a sealant of irregularities in between. What I'm going to do is loosen this whole thing down and then go ahead and put plumber's tape in between there in order to stop the water from coming through right here. I'll loosen that nut and I'll just wrap about 4 or 5 turns of Teflon tape in there. If that doesn't do it, I may need to push the pop-up up and put silicone around the top portion. Like as long as I can get this to cooperate, that is. And that may be more than we need, but I really want it to do the deed. Now we'll slide the trim piece up, thread our deal up. It's given a little resistance, which is kind of what I wanted. Hold the bottom to keep it from moving. Definitely getting some water coming through from the top side. Probably because I wiggled it a little by accident. What happened is the inner thread started to move. I'm going to need to take the pop-up clip out, turn that back on first, separated from the threaded portion here. Yeah, it's running into all kinds of fun here. Wow, that is completely unthreaded there. Okay, so I'm going to pop the pop-up up actually. Take that out for now. And really I'd like to see Teflon tape on this area also. Where that thread's on, but this one I'm just going to go 3 or 4 turns. Kind of skip the first 1 or 2 threads. Okay. Now thread that on. Once that's nice and tight, we're going to aim that towards the back. And now we'll tighten our deal on up here. We may need to insert a screwdriver under the top portion to keep it from turning. Top here, you can see the holes there. What we're going to want to do is insert a screwdriver to hold it here, and I'm going to let it turn just enough so that it's aimed to the back, like that. Gotta get that straight. Here, gotta make sure the pop-up's nice and straight to go through there, okay? Once that's set, I'm still holding up top with my wrench. And this one actually has a gasket down in here, so that may be why silicone is not used. I would actually use silicone starting out there, even with the gasket. But anyway, should do the trick. I'm still using my screwdriver up top just to keep the assembly from turning. Okay, we're tight. I don't want to over tighten that, I just want it tight enough. Now, up top we're going to insert our pop-up rod, and then on the bottom I'm going to hold it from the top, and from the bottom I'm going to insert the rod so that I catch the clip. And while maintaining pressure, I'll check it up top and make sure everything is how I want it, and that I can actually operate with my other hand just by moving it up and down. And then carefully going to thread on the back of our pop-up clip here. Avoid getting that cross-threaded. It's plastic. You pretty much get one chance at it. If you cross-thread it, you're doomed. And you don't want to be doomed. There we go. Okay. Yay, we're not doomed. Okay. So now we got our clip. And over here, what we want to do is put one end of our clip on and then push up a little bit on our pop-up right here. Slip the other end on to our clip. And that will maintain, squeeze our clip together, slide it up, and now that'll maintain pressure. And in theory, control our pop-up. Now the main consideration and the reason we went through all this is the leak. And the answer is hopefully not. Here goes the moment of testing. I'll turn on the water. And first we'll just give it a visual. Oop. And I got water coming through from the top. Not super bad, but bad enough to be proof that it is leaking. So once again, going to hold the pop-up. Turn it in. And I very well may need to grab silicone and put some silicone down in there. It's looking like that's the way it's going to need to go. Not even clear yet. Okay, so the journey of repairing this pop-up continues. This was a new install and it leaked. It wasn't my install, I just inherited it. I'm going to try to fix it up. Get it going. It's actually leaking in between right here. See the moisture on my finger? So what I need to do is pull it apart and put some silicone down around the inside of the drain. And also check how this particular one goes together. Got some gloves, got my channel locks, ready to get it done. You take the pop-up out. Down on the bottom, I'm using the rod, even though I've twisted off the end to lift it up, and then I can pull it out, pull the rod out with one hand, pop-up out with the other. Okay. And I pulled the pop-up rod out. I'm going to use my screwdriver here to keep the rod from the inner portion from turning. So, and on this side, we're just going to twist this nut out. It's plenty tight from the last one. Throw a rag down below to catch the majority of the water that might leak. Now up top I'm going to go ahead and push up. So I'm going to push up on the pop-up and bring that up. Okay. And I'd like this to sit with the hole forward here. So down below I'm going to go ahead and twist the pop-up so that it's aiming towards the back. Get that right now. Next I've got my gloves, and I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on. And then I've got my silicone, and this is a 3-hour shower ready silicone. So it'll work pretty quickly. I've got one pair of gloves. On my right hand I'm going to go ahead and add a second pair of gloves. That way I can peel it back and not get silicone all over my tools when I'm ready. I'm going to bring the nut on the pop-up below down a little bit more so I can push the whole assembly up enough to really get some silicone under there. There we go. Well, like I said, you know, I inherited this one. It would have been nice to have started fresh. That's right. It looks like this is designed to be a compression fitting and not need silicone. But compression doesn't always work. Anyway, what I'm going to do is squeeze the silicone in underneath, and then I'm going to push that compression piece down and squeeze some silicone into that also. Looks like I've got some dried silicone in the front of this. I need to get rid of that until we get to the good stuff. There we go. Just squeezed out the old dry stuff. In fact, I'm going to recover a little bit of dried stuff that went down there. I really don't want that. I want to make this nice and fresh silicone. Once I open these tubes, I find I'm needing to keep them in the fridge to keep it from drying out on me. Okay, so I squeezed it in underneath the compression fitting, this little gasket. What I'm going to do though is separate that gasket from the collar. And that way I can get the silicone in between the gasket and the flange there. It's not my design, I'm just working with it. And my theory is if we can get the silicone between both above and below the gasket, there's no way we can have anything but a good seal. The excess silicone I'll just take up and get rid of. Okay, so we're in there. I'm going to wipe my screwdriver off. I've got silicone above and below the gasket. Use my screwdriver up top here to keep the flange from turning, and down below be tightening up the nut. Okay, so here goes tightening up the nut. And I might even add some more silicone down below here. I want this to be over with and fixed. No place left to come back. done deal. Now silicone is a nice sealant, is a good sealant, and it'll hold pretty strong, but not so strong that you can't break it free with tools, you know, with a pair of channel locks. So it's a good sealant for this. And it's actually better for a white countertop like the one here, because plumber's putty can bleed into the countertop material, into the stone, and it can stain it. So for some materials it's necessary. In fact, for some materials it's critical to not use plumber's putty and to use silicone instead, unless you have some type of special putty that's specifically designed not to stain stone. Okay. Some people say you can use this right away. I would actually wait for 24 hours, you know, or at least the 3 hours if you have a 3-hour shower ready silicone. But I'd like to just give it 24 hours. And then leak check it, run your water, and prove that there's nothing else. So I'm just gonna wipe this all in. And if someone has to take this apart later, they're gonna hate me. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it around the bottom of the threads. But that's okay. They'll be able to thread it out if they need to. Up top, I'm gonna remove all that silicone that's down on the drain. Up here I'm going to remove all the silicone that's down on the drain. Get rid of all the excess. I don't want to leave it there. I'm actually going ahead and using it to coat it down below. I just don't want anything later. You know, 10 years from now someone's going to holler at me, but that's alright. Off. And I just like it to be right and have no problems here. I'm going to go ahead and use a different finger of my glove. Take out the rest of this. I'd rather not put it in my rag if I don't have to. I'm going to go ahead and unwrap my glove to get rid of that. Cap back on my silicone, and now I'm going to use the second glove to go ahead and wipe the rest of this off of there. Do not want to leave it on the cultured marble at all. So I've rubbed it out there, and I'm even going to use the glove here, wipe it all out. Left hand, just make sure it's all gone, and then I'm going to grab the old glove, I'm going to wrap this whole thing inside, and it's a done deal. I can throw that away, and I didn't have to get silicone all over me. And I'll go ahead and put my pop-up back in. And just kind of holding it and feeling for the pop-up hole. It looks like I'm going to need to go to with the second one. And then I'm loosely threading on the pop-up clip and just going real gentle to make sure it's not cross-threaded. And once I know for sure, then I can go ahead and tighten it down. And it's ready. Finish this off. Wipe everything off of the metal, wipe everything off of the cultured marble, and it's done. We can dry, and I can leave check it tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be good. There's no way, you know, it's going to make it seal, and there's nowhere for any water to go. But just to be sure, I'll go ahead and fill the water all the way up pull the plug, fill the water all the way up, and then let it go through on a pressure test and prove that there's no water going through there. Here it is the next day. Gonna go ahead and do a leak test on our top up here. See all the residual silicone. First we'll go ahead and run it, and we'll feel for any leaks here. Everything feels dry there. I'll go ahead and pull the pot up. We'll do a pressure test. Let it fill till it goes through the overflow. And then we'll pull the plug on that and just make sure everything's doing what we want it to. Make sure we have no leaks. Almost there. Start going into the overflow in a second here. In a couple few. And there we go. Going down into the overflow now. And no leaks. We'll go ahead and pull the plug. We can either pull it from up top, or I can actually pop it right here just by pushing it down. And this will force water through a lot faster. Make any kind of leaks show up as it goes through on the pressure test. And go ahead and shut my water off. Yeah, we got no leaks. We're good to go. Nice new pop-up installed, no leaks. And again, the silicone will give if we ever need to pop it off. That's a done deal. Good to go. And nothing shows up here as far as the silicone goes. So that's good too. Good to go. Nice new faucet and pop it.